Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need if you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here. And joining me once again is my brother, Tommy. How's it going, Tommy?
I'm good. How you doing?
And our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going, Richard?
What do you hear? What do you say, fellas?
Well, here we are on a Sunday night post NXT TakeOver WarGames. I've been practicing on it. Does it sound okay? Sound pretty good?
You're practicing is the reason why you have a headache.
I know, exactly. Thank you very much. And I was inspired. I saw your post, was it yesterday, of all the different NXT superstars doing their best William Regal impression. Tommy showed it to me, so I was like, WarGames. Tommy, can you do it?
WarGames.
Because he's going for the authenticity.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But yes, here we are. We just got done watching it live on the WWE Network. So for this episode, we're just going to focus on NXT TakeOver WarGames. A lot happened on this show.
I thought we were covering tribute from the troops. That's what I watched.
Did you watch that today? I did not have a chance to watch it. Okay.
No, I didn't.
But no, so much happened on this pay-per-view for them, this takeover show, that we'll focus on that for this particular episode, and we'll catch up with Raw, SmackDown, and all that good stuff at a later time. But before we get into NXT TakeOver WarGames, unfortunately there was some sad news this week in pro wrestling with the passing of Pat Patterson. I recorded an AEW review last night with Philip, and we touched on a little bit. He wanted to express his condolences and, talk about some memories and whatnot for him. But Richard, since you are the man behind Pro Wrestling 101 and, post so much just great wrestling history from all the decades, I'd love to just get your perspective on just when how you reacted when you heard the news about Pat Patterson's passing, anything particular you want to bring up about his wrestling career, anything that stood out. But yeah, I'll let you just, is there anything you want to add to, for about Pat Patterson's passing?
Well, for us, we grew up with him as one of the Stooges.
Yes.
Which is entertaining as hell.
Yes.
And I really started going, oh my God, he's holding up toys.
Yeah.
Dolls.
It's an action figure.
Yeah, it's a doll. And I think then everyone kind of, our age got a different view of Pat Patterson from Legends House, and coming out on Legends House publicly.
Oh, did he on that show?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've gone back, and there's some really great matches with him, and he was a big star in our area in San Francisco at the Cow Palace.
Yeah, and his old tag team partner was Ray Stevens.
Yeah. And it's one of those people that's not replaceable in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a great mind for the business that's gone now. So like Eddie Graham or Dusty Rhodes to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he invented the Royal Rumble concept, which is personally my WrestleMania of the year. So like I look forward to it. My dad looks forward to it, and he doesn't watch wrestling anymore, but I'll still go over there and we'll watch the Royal Rumble together. So
nice.
It's a huge loss. And you were at the Cow Pal show. Did you guys get a chance to meet him?
No.
I mean, we saw him from a distance. There was a line. You know, I forgot how much it was. I remember some people were saying like it was kind of expensive to go like meet him.
It was Kenny and I did it. It
was,
you did? It was worth the money.
Okay, that's right. You were there too. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, but so I mean, we saw him at the Cow Pals. We saw him from a distance. We didn't get in line. We saw the whole angle inside the ring he did with Dylan Drake and punched him. And wasn't Kevin Sullivan out on the outside as well?
Yeah, but he was also in that match with the guy with he had the clown get up look.
Yeah. So, I mean, we saw that. That was cool. I mean, for us, as you just mentioned, he's been a good part of his career wrestling here in the Bay Area and had so many great matches at the Cow Palace. And so for him to come back and have one more in-ring segment, if you want to call it that, inside the Cow Palace, that was cool. So I guess for all of us, we got to see his last Cow Palace appearance.
We got a funny story out of the meet and greet.
Oh, really? What happened?
Because we showed up early. We went originally because we both wanted to meet Pat Patterson.
Okay.
That was a selling point for us. And we get in line, we get to him, and Kenny's going to take the photo, and Kenny's telling Pat, like, oh, don't worry, I'm a photographer, like I got this. And then he's, Kenny sometimes makes faces when he takes a photo. So he's got his face all scrunched up and like one eye open. And the camera won't work. And Pat Patterson just starts laughing at him and making fun of him. He's like, oh, look at the cameraman's camera doesn't work. What good are you anyway?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And we both were laughing all night from that. So
did he actually get the camera working?
Yeah, he got the camera working, and Pat was patient as hell with it because we were like the last ones in line. He was probably waiting to go get a cigarette after that. But he was so nice and kind to us and very, very funny in this short 3, 4, or 5 minutes we spent with him. But
that's cool.
Really, really cool dude.
Yeah, no, and that's the big thing. It over the last few days, even on SmackDown this week, they had a great tribute for him. I mean, the whole show is pretty much a tribute to him. Like they kept cutting to him, or acknowledging him, or having highlights from his career, or other wrestlers, superstars talking about him. But the consistent thing everyone brought up was obviously his in-ring work back in the day. First Intercontinental Champion, won it in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
Unification match.
Yeah, man, but I wish, there were some photos or videos that really documented that event. You know what I mean?
It's almost like they just gave him the belt.
I know, right? I mean, God, I wish there were some archives.
Do you know why they said it was Rio de Janeiro?
Why?
Go on.
Pritchard revealed this, because they awarded him the belt because they wanted him to be champion, but they didn't want to take it off of Bob Backlund.
Okay.
So they invented this title and gave it to him, which he deserved because he was almost world champion anyway. So he could have won a tournament. It was just expedited.
Yeah.
But the reason why they gave it, or they said he won it in Rio de Janeiro is because Pat couldn't pronounce Rio de Janeiro with his French Canadian accent.
Oh my God. So it was just like an ongoing rib.
Yeah. So after he had the belt and he's doing interviews, so Pat, where did you win that belt again? Oh, I won the belt in Brazil. It's like, where exactly in Brazil?
Rio de Janeiro.
And I will say this, if there's any one match, because apparently the few matches you can find of the Blonde Bombers, Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens, are not like their best stuff. It's good stuff still. It's good tag team matches.
Yeah.
But the best match you can find is on the WWE Network, and there's a cage match with Pat Patterson and Bob Backlund. And Pat is doing these crazy bumps in the match and these scary stunts when they're on top of the cage, and he's got his leg in the cage, but he's bending backwards. Where he would fall outside the ring. And it's just oh my God, a man that size you wouldn't think would bend that way.
Oh my God. And that's what, probably one of the 70? No, or
it's 78 or 79.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing.
And he had the famous match with Sergeant Slaughter, who was what was it called? The back alley match, or the street fight, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I mean, I saw people on Facebook sharing that one. Didn't he have also like a really good match with Ted DiBiase as well? Like a young Ted DiBiase, if I remember correctly, or something. I'm sure.
Oh, like a beardless Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the thing. It, like, as you just said, Richard, you, Tommy, and I, with our age, we're all around the same age. We didn't grow up with him as a wrestler. We grew up with him more as like a WWE official of some sorts. One of the older guys that was an authority type figure. But yeah, so his matches and stuff, I mean, he has his own history of doing that, but the fact he was able to transition and keep going, I mean, I think Phil told me, I think his overall career was like 61 years, if you want to count it. I guess probably the time he was an adult to
61 years in the business.
Yeah, he passed away age 79, unfortunately, from complications from cancer and stuff. But
how about that Frank Sinatra tribute?
I know, dude, that was so good. So I was trying to, okay, it's Frank Sinatra's voice, but then it was Pat, like
they were mixing Pat in there from video footage that they have of Pat.
Okay, because I was like, wait, that sounds like Frank, but then they would show Pat singing, and I was like, wait, he just sounds just like him. So I don't know if they were just dubbing the two over each other, like karaoke style and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I thought that whole Gerald Briscoe thing was waterworks for me.
Oh my! Like that 4-minute video.
That was so hard to watch.
Oh my god! and I'm glad you brought that up. So,
like, usually I'll record something like that and put it on my page. It's like, God, I can't sit through that again. Not right now.
Yeah. And I totally get that. So, but as you said, like we grew up, I knew more of him. Well, Tommy, you said he was the ref, right? Which WrestleMania?
The first
WrestleMania 1.
WrestleMania 1.
So it was him and Ali.
He was also the referee for Bam Bam and Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But Tommy, so he was he the main ref and Ali was the outside, like the
outside ring enforcer.
Okay, so it's the two of them. But what you said, he was like pulling Ali.
There was a moment where during the match when Ali got in the ring to like confront Roddy Piper or whatever, and there was some guy grabbing Ali, trying to break him up, holding him back. It was George Scott.
Yeah, so the old Booker.
The old Booker from Jim Crockett Promotions.
Yeah, so that was very cool. So, I mean, looking back at it now, like that first WrestleMania, all the legends in that ring and the who's who of pro wrestling back in the day, that was very cool. But yeah, as you said, then he transitioned, and pretty much he's been one of Vince McMahon's right-hand man for the last...
He has been
decades.
His right-hand man since Vince bought the company.
Yeah.
For decades.
So it's... That for me, that was very cool to see Vince. He's pretty much retired, like the Mr. McMahon character. He doesn't come on TV that much, and unless like we saw Undertaker's retirement thing at Survivor Series. So the fact that he came out on stage on SmackDown this week and was part of the 10 bell salute, that was very cool seeing that. So, but as you said, like once the '90s came around, and we're all Stone Cold Steve Austin fans. So when Stone Cold had his feud with Mr. McMahon, and him and Briscoe were part of the Stooges, and their ongoing battles with Stone Cold, but then the comedic
the Mean
stuff.
Street Posse.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the fun stuff they would do together, the backstage segments.
Him and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Briscoe was hardcore champion.
I was just going to say, do you remember the evening gown match that he had with Briscoe?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. But the hardcore championship, they were fighting for the belt. And then even more recently, the 24/7 championship a couple years ago. So, and that's the thing is not only his wrestling career, and then his later years, the one of the Stooges character, but yeah, behind the scenes, the wrestling mind. That's the big thing people keep saying is he, created the Royal Rumble, as you mentioned. He was one of the best, I guess, help creating finishes for matches, and so really helped put like The Rock, over, and a lot of the other guys that he worked with.
Me and my buddy William have talked about it for years. That it's like that's the one person that probably could have changed the tides if WCW grabbed.
Oh, they hired him?
Yeah.
Oh,
over
interesting.
any of their other like hires or stolen talent, like that would have changed the game forever.
Interesting. I never thought about it like that. Yeah, I mean, they're throwing a lot of money out there in the '90s. Why didn't they throw out for one of the minds?
He wouldn't have gone anyway.
yeah, it's true. But he was very loyal to Vince. But yeah, it's creating the Royal Rumble, passing the knowledge, but yeah. So at Briscoe. said in the video you were just referencing, as far as even though he's not here with us anymore, his legacy will live on forever. Because I made the analogy, it's very much like a coaching tree. Like, Tommy,
the Bill Walsh coaching tree.
Bill Walsh, the legend at the top, and then all his offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, all the coaches who then go on to coach on their own, and it creates this family tree. So very much like Pat Patterson's at the top, and then all the wrestlers that he worked with, and then those wrestlers go on to pass that knowledge to someone else. So very much, Briscoe, I think, said, like, you look at NXT, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they learned from Pat Patterson, and now they're teaching the NXT roster. So I think that's a very cool analogy as far as the
absolutely, and
the
those
domino effect.
And those guys had learned for decades with Pat. It wasn't just the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But that's also something that you hear every wrestler from yesteryear talk about when they used to travel in cars together. That's where you got your education.
Yep.
So
just those long road conversations.
Exactly. So, like, WCW and ECW to a smaller extent had some legends. So a lot of those guys got picked up a lot from your Terry Funks and everyone in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
But like with WWE, they in the mid 90s and late 90s, they started training and farming a lot of their own talent like they do now. So having someone like Pat Patterson for a Kurt Angle, who's basically started from scratch, is essential for Kurt.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really amazing just to hear that, those stories. And yeah, even though he's no longer here with us, yeah, I mean, the entertainment that we all experience from him will live on forever. The great wrestling minds that he helped create and has passed on to next generations. And yeah, we'll forever see that for decades to come. So that's very exciting. So RIP to Pat Patterson. Thank you for everything you've done for the wrestling business and entertaining us for so many years. So, I mean, yeah, it's such an amazing life he had. So, yeah, our condolences to his family and friends for that. All right, let's move on to tonight's big show, NXT TakeOver, WarGames. It's in the books now. So like we always do, we'll kind of start with our initial just thoughts for the show, and then we'll break down the card. So start out big and work our way down. So yeah, Richard, please tell me kind of your initial just thoughts on this edition. So this will be, the 4th year in a row that they've done NXT TakeOver WarGames.
That's kind of nuts when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's also kind of nuts when you think that's how long the Undisputed Era has been a thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I thought there wasn't any wasted motion on the show like a TakeOver does. There hasn't been a bad TakeOver yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, why it is, but like for some reason TakeOvers over-deliver what your expectations are.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, like, I think I've really become to enjoy it. Like, as you say, like, Royal Rumble is like your favorite thing to look forward to. For me, as far as like on the NXT brand, WarGames is now like the big yearly event that I look forward to every year now. Just the way they've been doing these shows and how they kind of, ever since they brought back the WarGames title, how they've been like really made it their own version of that. And in many ways, it's their version of Survivor Series now. As far as, I mean, the first 3 years, it was the Saturday, same weekend as Survivor Series. Now here we are in December, which I was a little nervous, when Survivor Series was announced and we saw NXT TakeOver, 31? That was back in October? Beginning of October. And I was like, okay, so it's the beginning of October. Usually TakeOvers every 2 to 3 months. So theoretically, that WarGames spot, Survivor Series weekends, will be here in 6 weeks. I was like, I don't know if they'll do another TakeOver that quickly. And then when Survivor Series was announced and nothing was happening, and then we had Halloween Havoc, I'm like, ooh, are we going to get a WarGames this year? I was a little nervous, but then sure enough, I think it was a week or two after Halloween Havoc was done, they said WarGames is coming. I was like, all right, good, because I was a little nervous. Like, I was like, I need my WarGames. But
don't count out Triple H.
Yeah, but my main thing is like moving forward. It's like, you gotta get maybe some fresh blood. As much as I love Undisputed Era, I think next year this might be a good send off for Undisputed Era on a high note as baby faces now. And we'll get into that more at the end. And maybe at the very end, we'll maybe kind of power rank our favorite WarGames NXT, like out of the 4. What was like the best one? Maybe, if for fun, if we'll get into that. So, Tommy, how about you? Kind of your initial thoughts overall for this show?
It was just one big chaos, just everything, was just a big chaos, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. These war game matches specifically, chaos.
What matches?
War games.
War games.
War games.
War games.
Yeah, I mean, chaos is probably one of the best words to describe how these matches play out, more or less, as far as all the action, the violence.
Is it TLC that they call the biggest demolition derby of the year?
I'm not quite sure.
Because I feel like War Games should get that moniker now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Totally. In many ways. Absolutely. So, I'm with you. I enjoyed the show overall. As far as I thought pretty much everything was kind of more or less safe booking. I know we didn't do a predictions video this weekend like we've done for some of the more recent events. But everything kind of played out how I anticipated, especially after this week's episode of NXT on Wednesday. No major surprises other than what happened after Johnny Gargano's match.
What about Karrion Kross here? Come on.
Okay, well, yeah, we got a little snippet that we'll get into that as well.
That's my boy.
But no major outside interference. But then again, NXT TakeOver, to their credit, they got their formula: 5 matches. Hard hitting, balls to the wall, clean finishes, more or less, most of the time, like 90% of the time.
And they always stick with that formula.
And that's great. Say what you want to say about WWE overall as a company, as a brand, Raw, SmackDown, their pay-per-views. NXT TakeOver, they have their own formula, and it really plays into that just niche, hardcore wrestling fan base, which I always respect to this day, ever since they've been around for their existence. So let's jump into the opening match, which was the women's War Games match. We got Team Candice. You guys all know Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Toni Storm taking on Team Shotzi, featuring Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. And man, this match, so Wednesday night, Shotzi Blackheart took on Raquel Gonzalez in that ladder match. The winner of the briefcase gets the advantage as far as who gets their teammates to come in order after that. So Shotzi won on Wednesday, which I was a little surprised as far as the baby faces having the advantage going into this match. And with that being said, I was like, oh man, I kind of feeling, based on wrestling math, when that happens, it's like, oh man, so the heels are going to be at a disadvantage. Does it mean the heels are it's a little foreshadowing that they're going to win here? Ultimately, skipping ahead, spoiler, Team Candice did win. The heels won here.
I kind of called that one.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Richard, just kind of your initial thoughts on this opening match here.
I thought it was chaotic. I think that the girls need to lay it in when they're using weapons, because it looks really bad when you're stalling the way they do.
And they did it so gingerly.
Yeah.
So gingerly. So I texted you guys that they need to watch some Francine from ECW.
Oh, yeah.
And lay it in and apologize later, because, there's moments of that. If I was watching that with someone that doesn't watch wrestling, I couldn't defend that. So I still think it was a very good match regardless. And I think that they made Raquel Gonzalez in that match.
Yes, absolutely. And
that put an explanation point next to her name.
That was definitely probably the biggest takeaway from this match. And for me, going into this, I really thought this was going to be Shotzi Blackheart's big coming out party.
I did too.
Because let's look at it as far as her team was stacked. As far as, Io Shirai, who is the current NXT Women's Champion, but also Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon, who are both former NXT Women's Champions. So she's definitely the odd one out as far as career achievements in NXT. So when I see that, it's like, okay, the rest of her team had their moment to shine or been at the top of that division at one point or the other. So for Shotzi, she definitely has a lot to prove here, and she could be the big, in many ways, she's the rookie here, and she could, if they really want to maybe put her on that, move her career up and get that push, this could be a great opportunity to either have some big moments here or spots, and or be the one to make the pin and win it for the team. Unfortunately, I didn't see either of that. I mean, Shotzi did have the one little drop high up on the cage, right? Or, and landed on her back.
The ladder spot.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. But, I was a little bummed. Like, we didn't get to see more Shotzi doing some Daredevil stuff, which he's kind of been known for.
You know what stood out to me, though, about Shotzi, not just here, but recently, is I'll peel back the curtain for our listeners. A couple months ago, we were talking about how Shotzi Blackheart is more hype based off of her looks.
Yeah.
It feels like within a very short amount of time, her in-ring has gotten really good.
Yes, yeah.
Which is surprising because they're not doing house shows where you practice these things. So I think that a little more guidance was probably needed in this match. It worked for me overall. Io Shirai laid everything in. Dakota Kai laid everything. I mean, Dakota Kai was swinging like she meant it.
Yeah.
So I think you've got 8 women that are your main event stars for the women's division.
Yeah, that was a big thing. It was like these 8 women that were in this match, they really are the top
all 8 of them
of the women's division, and you can easily argue they have the best women's division of all pro wrestling right now. Yeah. So hats off to all of them for busting their ass. So a couple things I just want to touch on. So, Team Shotzi Black comes out, and we've been seeing like the little teaser videos of her and her teammates working on her brand new tank. So she comes out with her new tank. I don't know, Tommy, what'd you think of her tank, the way it looked?
It just looks more state of the art, and just the cannon that just came out of nowhere and it almost got Dakota Kai.
Yeah, was that a Nerf gun? Like it was.
I don't know. I was really worried.
It was like an orange. It was a big orange arrow, like a styrofoam arrow that she shot. I thought it was like a tennis ball at first. I thought that was like it was like
something out of American Gladiator.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. I was like, she was like aiming. I thought she was gonna have more tennis balls to come flying out, but no. But the tank looks awesome. I wonder if that's gonna be her new thing moving forward.
Four of them just standing there when they got that good up close shot of that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that was badass as well. So no, I that was great. I loved all that, and so I wonder if she's gonna be using that for the foreseeable future. That's her new part of her new ring entrance or not.
Should have shot fire.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. So the last teaser video we got, they had like that Pulp Fiction type scene where they added one last piece and it blew up gold, like a gold light. I was like, oh, what are they going to put on it? So I don't know what was that, the skull that they put on there
Probably.
Or something. I don't know. Or the
taking care of business moniker.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, okay, take was awesome. And then so the match starts. Shotzi was going to go in, like I'm the captain. But then it was pretty cool that Amber grabbed her and says, no, I'm going to start. And so she came in, took on Dakota Kai to start out. And then, like I said, Team Shotzi had the advantage. And then Rhea Ripley came in and so forth. Jumping ahead. And so, like I said, baby faces have the advantage. I loved kind of a little bit of the strategy, though, when Io was the last one to come in. And they were kept shutting the door. Raquel Gonzalez was playing door security.
Yeah. Well, so was Tony. Tony took off her belt and tied it around the door. So that was really good storytelling.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, you guys have the advantage, but we're going to keep your person out until our last person comes in, who was Candice LeRae. So pretty much that 3-minute window where they would have the advantage. They, stalled for time by keeping the door shut. So that was great strategy from the heel standpoint. And then I love how they kind of locked it up. And then probably one of the spots of the night, Io Shirai runs around, goes to the top of the cage, puts a can on her.
She became Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, she put a garbage can over here and jumped off and landed on everyone down below. Great spot there. I don't know where it ranks for our all-time dive. She's becoming like the biggest Daredevil diver ever. I mean, Lucha Underground, she has that one amazing dive. In Your House earlier this year, she jumped off. So maybe they should do like a power ranking of like her best dives from high places.
Oh, I'm sure they will. She's a human highlight reel.
Exactly. So great spot. I love her like purple outfit as well. So she trying to change it up a little bit. And so yeah, they get in the ring and then finally, 4-4 and the match officially starts. I love it. Even one was a Candice LeRae, I think, was trying to get the pin. And the ref's like, no, Io's not in the ring yet, or you can't start the match. So I was like, hey, good for the ref, knowing the rules, thank God. So,
but this ain't WCW from 2000.
Man, even AEW recently. Dude, AEW, whenever there's a John Moxley match, there's no 10 count. Like, they're outside. Dean Ambrose.
Oh.
Yeah.
The wrestler formerly known as Dean Ambrose.
So, that's one thing that frustrates me. It's like, they don't respect the 10 count. So anyway, it's all side note. But anyway, like you said, this match, as we said, it's chaotic. It's definitely a lot of spots. You know, they're setting up all these various spots throughout the match. One thing that did stood out was I think Rhea Ripley. So Shotzi Blackheart, when she comes in, she has like a toolbox and what's the like metal? Oh my god, like I'm spacing.
A wrench.
Or no, the thing like you open like boxes with. Like
pliers?
Crowbar.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same bird. So anyway, sorry.
Inside joke there.
Sorry. So then she throws all those weapons in the ring. And then later on, we see Rhea Ripley grab like a sledgehammer or like a small hammer or a big hammer from the toolbox, and she hits Dakota Kai with it.
Oh, yeah. She nailed her.
And the stomach in the back. And like, listen, I know it's kayfabe. You know, she laid into it. You know, Triple H, at least when he would do it, he would kind of, do it once, but like has his hand over, the top of the sledgehammer.
Except for that one time he got Undertaker.
Yeah, but Dakota Kai, she got nailed with that hammer a couple times. As far as like Rhea swings, and Dakota Kai got up not too soon after. I was like, damn, like, kind of sell it a little bit more. Like, that's a major, hit to the body. A hammer.
She has things that we don't. They're called abs. And I don't know how they work. I'm not equipped for it. But
my one little thing, yeah.
I think it's some sort of protection.
Yeah,
it's the shield.
It's like an extra layer there. But I mean, for one of my,
you gotta do it like Kamala.
Oh, that's great audio, right? They're all synchronized. But
I hope the clickbaiters do that with us. So.
Everyone, rewind and do it with us.
All in unison.
But I really enjoyed. I mean, got Ember Moon doing the Eclipse off the top rope onto the chair. That was amazing. I love that. So, this match, like you said, it's a lot of spots that they're trying to work through.
There's that one arm power bomb too from Raquel to Io through the ladder that was just nasty.
And that ultimately was the finish right there. And Raquel Gonzalez, as you said, like this match made her, and to her credit, in this year, 2020, especially aligning herself with Dakota Kai, she's really come a long way. Like, she's become like a badass in the ring herself.
This is probably the start of her push right here.
Yeah, and so with that being said, so that was the finish, pinning Io Shirai, the NXT Women's Champion, in the middle of the ring. Wow, big moment. So what I think we all thought was going to be set up for Shotzi didn't happen. Instead, happened for Raquel Gonzalez. So wow, I mean, I kind of wondered that's going to foreshadow what's next for her. And keep in mind, WWE even tweeted this out. Last year's WarGames, Rhea Ripley pinned Shayna Baszler, who was NXT Women's Champion. Then, a couple months later, Rhea Ripley was NXT Women's Champion. So, for Raquel Gonzalez, yeah, is this the beginning of a big push for her? So, we shall wait and see. But nonetheless, very fun match. I enjoyed it. I know, like, looking online on Twitter and stuff, various people reacting like a little more, as you said, more structure for the match or whatever. But I mean, it's WarGames. That's the whole point of it. It's going to be all over the place and a lot of stuff going on. You got to watch it probably 2 or 3 times to pick up everything.
When I say structure, I meant more so like, hey, like an agent telling them to lay it in. Because it's WarGames and not everyone gets to be in this match. So
yeah,
like in terms of chaos, I'm all for that. I'm a big ECW fan. So
of course.
The more violent, the better. So
maybe some of them were afraid to get a receipt. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm even fine with sloppy wrestling to a degree if it looks like it's legitimate. It's just those little instructions like lay it in. Like because there was just so much weapon use and no one's really taking advantage of it besides Dakota Kai, like I said.
Yeah. So That was great.
And all I can think of is David Arquette screaming for an object. So
exactly. So next up was Tommaso Ciampa taking on Timothy Thatcher, a match Tommy I know personally was looking forward to it. So please tell me. Or go ahead, Richard.
I'm just gonna say it over delivered.
Oh yeah. So Tommy, please, your thoughts on this match here.
It was stiff. It was really violent without any weapons involved.
Yeah, and then as what you tweeted about the blood that came from Timothy Thatcher's ear.
Oh, because he popped his cauliflower ear with the knee. Ciampa.
But you said that really just added.
It added more. Just add more flair to the match.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, so the story going into Ciampa is like his whole mission of trying to fix the locker room in NXT. It's not the same from when he started. And so I don't know if this is the beginning of him going after like more the newer signees, like a guy like Timothy Thatcher. But nonetheless, this match was hard hitting. It was, as you said, with the blood that really added a whole new layer to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Richard, what were your kind of takeaways from this match here?
I thought it was the best match of the night.
Thank you.
Mainly because it was easy to follow. I didn't think anything was bad. Don't get me wrong. Everything was good on this show.
Okay.
Some of it predictable in terms of who won, like we had talked about, but overall, I just thought Ciampa got me to a place where, and Vic Joseph, Ciampa and Vic Joseph together got me to a place where I'm thinking every little bump that Ciampa's taking, I'm kind of wincing, going, oh, his neck. And they really did a good job of telling that story with his neck and how Thatcher kept going after it. And, he had him in that headlock at one point, and Thatcher's almost like squatting, but, kind of still standing. He just hunched over on him. And I'm just like, I've been put in a headlock like that. That hurts. And for someone that's broken their neck, it's just like, ah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was very intense. And just the reaction online, everyone really enjoyed this match. And, for Ciampa, it was cool to see him get a little more technical with Thatcher in the ring. I mean, obviously, that's what Thatcher's known for. But,
I thought they had really good chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy when Thatcher, though, gets more into the hard-hitting side of things, more the slapping and kind of the stuff, like what Walter's known for.
And that's why they're both in ring comps together, because that was you do those moves so you can continue stretching. You beat them into submission so you can stretch them some more.
Yeah, dude. So
do you like the tights that Ciampa wore?
So
that's fine with him.
Okay.
So he's been bouncing around. Like sometimes he'll wear.
It's not as good as Tucker's gear, but whatever.
I dig the pants. I like when he wears the pants
because he went from wearing like the classic tights
to camo,
the camouflage tights to
these pants. Yeah,
kind of like a Bobby Lashley look.
Yeah,
I've got a small. Oh wait. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so the match ultimately Ciampa got the win, and I think all three of us were hoping he was going to win. If I remember,
it was a must-win for Ciampa.
Actually, I mean, for both of them, they both needed a win. I mean, Thatcher.
Well, I think Thatcher gets enough TV time, right? Yeah. And Ciampa just kind of pops up here or there, and I'm sure he's won his last couple matches, but I don't remember them.
I mean. He was Cross's first victim, right? Yeah. In your house.
And he was eaten up like Cena was with Lesnar.
Yeah.
So since then he's had some matches on TV that he's dominated and won quickly.
Yeah, Dream, right? It was a Velveteen Dream, right? He got that one.
Oh, and Jake Atlas.
Yeah. Oh, Jake. So that's the thing. Yeah, is Ciampa a babyface again?
I guess the whole heel thing kind of just went out the window for now, and now he's back to being a babyface.
Yeah, because he was a heel with Jake Atlas, or maybe he was just frustrated. He just needed to get out some steam, but now he's back to more recent incarnation.
He's a tweener.
So this match was great, and we'll see what goes from here for both these guys. Does Ciampa go after someone else on the roster that kind of pisses him off?
I like to see Thatcher get a title shot for the North American title.
Yeah, I mean, based on who won here tonight, they can maybe recycle that storyline. I don't know if it's too soon still, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Next up was the strap match. One of our favorites, Cameron Grimes, taking on Dexter Lumis. The strap.
I jokingly said it's the Carolina moonshiner versus the serial killer.
Yes, exactly. So, the strap match here. So, this is starting to become, I think, Dexter Lumis' bread and butter because we saw him earlier this year do it against Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
So, the match here, it's I think strap matches can be...
It's a classic gimmick match.
Yeah, and I think they can be kind of tough to perform if
you can't have
use
blood.
Yeah, and it's like you really got to use the strap, to its full advantage. And ultimately, the point of the strap is to keep these two guys together because either one is known for running away or whatnot. To the point, it's almost like, parents who have those little handcuffs on their kids and they keep them together. So it's really the point. It's like you got to settle this feud in the ring, no running away. You need the strap. But yeah, Richard, how you kind of think this played out, this version of a strap match in NXT?
I thought the match itself was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be good. I wasn't expecting it to be all that long, and this was longer than I thought they would give them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were going to get a lot more of Dexter Lumis grabbing the strap and yanking Cameron Grimes back to where he wanted, and I thought we were going to hear Cameron Grimes scream the whole time, which we didn't. So
yeah, I like the spot where he kind of grabbed his feet and pulled it out from him.
Now I got to ask you this because I have a booking idea here.
Okay,
go on.
What more can Cameron Grimes really do at NXT? Like, do you see
win
him?
A title?
Maybe
a North American title shot.
Does he need it?
No, I mean he's one of those guys whose character is so charismatic.
He's so entertaining.
Yeah, he's entertaining the way he is,
and like he's like 60-40 booked. Like he wins 60% of the time, and like when he gets a real competitor. Like,
yeah. I get
someone everyone recognizes that he loses. But my idea here would be bring him up to Raw and have him team with Tucker.
Interesting. Really? Okay.
Because like I think he would be good paired with someone, but I don't think someone his size.
Interesting. He can be the one to kind of motivate the big man.
And,
like,
yeah,
come on,
and
man.
With the big man in the new gear and the way Cameron looks with that stupid strut, and he's I could see them going for the tag team titles, and
he can also be his mouthpiece.
Yeah,
exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so that's definitely an interesting thought. I didn't think about that. That'd be kind of cool for him. It's.
I just don't see what else is he going to do if he stays in NXT? Like he could win a title, but like that title picture right now is pretty stacked for both belts.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I like how the match is the continuation of Cameron Grimes scared by Lumis's eyes. So he's trying to wrap the strap around his eyes. And then even he brought out his own strap. I was kind of confused. Like, what was his own strap for that was better than the other one? Was it just
so he could toss it at him and jump him at the beginning of the match?
Okay. So
like that I think that was simply it, because I was wondering like what's the gimmick here?
Yeah,
and then,
what's it make it special?
Yeah, like is there some part of it that he can detach or something? And
yeah.
There wasn't.
No.
It was just so he could have a tiny advantage at the beginning.
So yeah, it was a lot of slapping and kind of going around the ring and stuff. It was in a good spot as far as like in the middle of the show, I think, at that point, because you came off this big wrestling match with Ciampa and Thatcher right before that. So, it served its purpose. Dexter Lumis wins here. So he's kind of pretty much 2-0 against Cameron if you go back to Halloween Havoc and the scary house, haunted house thing. So, and they had the blindfold match that Cameron ran out on. So at this point, Lumis has Grimes' number. So I hope now the feud's done. Let them move on different directions. I mean, I'm really curious where Lumis goes from here, especially as what his character is known for. What can he do? Cameron Grimes, yeah, I'm with you. It's like he needs to move on to something else now as well. I think they need to separate. So
maybe Lumis could have a feud with Gargano.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it'd be interesting if they want him to start, maybe get a title picture as well. So, well, speaking of Gargano, so next up was for the North American Championship, a triple threat match. The champion, Leon Ruff. Yes, Leon Ruff. If the name doesn't sound completely familiar, he's kind of been the new hot thing in NXT over the last month, taking on Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest. And this match, dude, I had a lot of fun with this match. I thought Damian Priest especially looked awesome. And
I also want to say that I really enjoyed the drop-down boxing mic with the Capital Wrestling Center logo on it. That was pretty sweet.
yeah, that came down from the top.
Very shades of Madison Square Garden with the late great Howard Finkel.
Absolutely. So I thought it was a great match here. I know, Richard, your text is a little bit earlier about Leon Ruff. Like, you've really grown to like him, right?
Yeah, he's growing on me. Especially the last 2 weeks, I'd say, because we've got to see more out of him. The character, it's early stage character development for him at the moment, but in terms of the storytelling done with him at the moment, and because it's not like he's a rookie. I mean, he's a rookie to NXT. So I thought they did a really good job as of late of showcasing him as their North American champion, not have it just be a joke.
Yeah, and
like that, especially that match he had with the second match he had with Gargano. I thought he showed a lot.
Mm-hmm. And that's a major story here. I mean, not to go super in deep on it. I think anyone who watches NXT on the regular know what it is. But as far as Leon Ruff was pretty much used as like the ploy between Priest and Gargano's rivalry for the last couple months, and Waves added to the equation and really just add more tension between the two. And as far as this match, even though he's the champion, I enjoyed early on. Damian Priest is like, dude, just get out of here. Like, I want to take on Johnny right now. Like, get out of my way. And, Leon's the champion, man. And, like, Damian's, like, blowing him off. Like, get out of here. Like, it's in a way, he's not showing any respect to him. Even though he's the champion, he just thinks, just get out of my way. You're interfering. I want to take out Johnny Gargano and beat him and win back the championship. And so I thought all three guys were great in this matchup here. I mean, come on, you got Johnny Gargano, Mr. Johnny Takeover. I mean, he's always going to deliver, either he's babyface or heel. But Damian Priest, I love, like, his spots here is hard hitting.
And he threw Leon Ruff like a dart.
Yeah, like, his first takeover, I think, was against Finn Balor at In Your House.
Yeah.
So in the last, 6 months, I want to say, 5-6 months, Damian Priest has really grown on me as a performer, as he's transitioned from a heel to more of the baby face that he is now. I've really been impressed by him and what he's been able to do. But Leon Ruff, I mean, dude, he does some fun stuff in the ring. I love where he bounces from rope to rope to rope and then slides under the opponent.
He's like an acrobat in there.
He's almost like his story is right now, like, he can win the match as long as you can't catch him.
Exactly.
As soon as you catch him, it's over. It's kind of like when we would watch Rey Mysterio against some of the Giants.
Yeah.
2002 or something. Like, he would get all this crazy stuff in, but as soon as they caught him, the match is done.
Yeah, so it's very entertaining for what all of them did. I mean,
that outsider's edge into the wall was just like,
oh my god, dude, that was great. And so I don't know about you guys, but you saw, like, I know, like, on
the
that
second wall.
Yeah, okay, so Damian Priest has Leon Ruff, throws him, razor's edge him into the wall, falls down, and you notice a lot of the NXT signees or trainees.
I rewound that to see what happened, and it looked like one of the ring attendants bumped into it, like stumbled backwards and hit it.
Yeah, so they fall. The wall falls down, and they're all like trying to get out of the way. But it looks like one person fell over and pushed the other wall down, so really showed the gimmick walls falling apart. So I was like,
it was funny because the person, like, had that shocked look on their face, and as soon as they fell backwards, you could see with the face mask on, like, it went down a little bit, and their eyes got even more wide, like, oh god,
I screwed up here. I don't know. My bad. So, but I enjoyed, like, so that's how they took Leon Ruff out of the match for a little bit. Comes back, makes a big hero return, gets some more offense in, and it was a strong showing for Leon Ruff. And then ultimately, that's the way the finish plays out. So Johnny Gargano, ever since Halloween Havoc, has been teasing, like, these ghost faces helping him, and on social media has been reposting a lot of old photos with the ghost face in there. Like, this ghost face person is like his new ally and friend. And so all of a sudden it was like
just the storm of people wearing the ghost.
That was the one thing I didn't like, because I knew that they were going to reveal one, and we're not going to know who the others are because it's not important.
Right.
And in a week, we won't remember or care. But at the same time, it's like with Retribution. Like, if you're going to have all those people, then you better show all those people.
Reveal yourself.
So, it was like 3 ghost faces come out and are starting to interfere and trying to take out Damian Priest. They fight him off, and then like 3 more come out. So I think 6 total. I lost track like how many were coming in and out of the ring. Finally, one comes out with a pipe that we saw, the same pipe I believe from Halloween Havoc. Or no, Halloween Havoc, they used the tombstone.
It was the tombstone.
So they hit Damian Priest. He falls out. I love his spot, though, right before that, where he ran across the ring and jumped over the ropes and took out a bunch of the ghost faces outside the ring on the side over there. So very cool. And then, unfortunately, ultimately, Leon Ruff's role in this match came into play as far as the one to eat the pin here. So Damian Priest taken out with the pipe. He doesn't eat a pin. He still looks strong. Leon Ruff gets taken out by Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano gets the pin, and now a 3-time North American champion. So congrats to him. So once again, champion. And then the last Ghostface that was out there with the pipe rips off his hood or his mask and says, and it's Austin Theory, and he says, "It's me, Austin. It was me all along." So obviously a callback to Vince McMahon revealing himself as the higher power. But I like how he says it was, still, Mr. McMahon said, "It was me, Austin. It was me all along." But like Austin Theory, he's like, "It was me, Austin." Points to himself like, "Oh, I'm Austin Theory. It was me all along." So that little pause just to really serve his purpose of like it pointing to himself. But so, okay, a new little alliance, I guess, building here for Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. We saw Austin Theory walk out a couple months ago, I believe it was, pissed off on a losing streak. So
he's just a follower now, He was with Seth Rollins and now Gargano.
Yeah, so we'll see how this plays out with them and this new partnership. So I guess goodbye Ghostface. That's gone now completely. So maybe he'll dress up like, different seasons. Like, it's Christmas season now, so maybe it can be Santa Claus or something.
The Grinch.
Yeah, exactly. So, next up was the main event. It was the men's WarGames match, Undisputed Era, taking on Team Pat McAfee, if you want to call it that. I think he was
Dunn, Danny Burch, and Oni Lorcan.
For a while, I think he was calling themselves the Kings of NXT, but I don't know if that was the official name for this faction. But, man, what a match here. A little bit different. I mean, as far as, Undisputed Era, this is their 4th WarGames match. They've been in all 4 under the NXT umbrella. And for the first time, they're baby faces, but also they were really acknowledging that this is their match. They're the kings of this match per se. But yeah, Richard, your thoughts of this match overall?
Well, full discretion, I'm watching it a second time at the moment. Pat McAfee just did a swanton bomb off the top.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I thought this was extremely good. And how it ranks with the other 3 war games that they've done, it's hard to say.
I really enjoyed the one in 2018 with the Viking Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne taking on.
That's the first one, right?
That was the second one.
Oh, no, that's the second one. Yeah,
I really like. Remember all 4 of them?
That showdown.
Yeah, like the hockey fight. Yeah,
yeah.
And like War Raiders and them were all wearing like the same makeup and stuff, like in unison. Ricochet and Pete Dunne.
I think this was great. I think the one thing that hurt it is because I'm watching it twice now. I think the thing that hurt it is that there wasn't a crowd.
Yeah. So if we had to power rank it, I might have it at the bottom. I have to rewatch the first one in 2017, so long ago now. As far as it was three teams of 3, so AOP, Roger Strong, Undisputed Era, and Sanity. So, but yeah, no, this match, so many crazy spots as well. Chaotic, like I said, is the word to describe these war games. Tommy, how about you? Any initial thoughts of this whole match overall?
It was just a clutter of just bodies just laying it on the line in this match.
Yeah. So, a couple weeks ago, they had the ladder match and Team McAfee won. So they had the advantage going into this as far as every time a new person came in, they always would have to outnumber them. So, I really enjoyed Pat McAfee kept wanting to come in and then someone else was like, no, I'll go first.
Yeah, let me take care of it.
And he's like, all right, cool. He was like, yeah, you go ahead. So it's like, like he was trying to look eager, but then he's like, "Oh, okay, you go ahead. That's fine. All right, no problem." So just that little body language was there. I enjoyed that. Kyle O'Reilly, man. I mean, as far as in the last couple of months, as far as they're trying to build him up as his own entity, his own star, he was determined to be the first one to start this match, and his body language. I mean, if there's a crowd there, they would be roaring for him. So the way he was walking with confidence, I was like, okay, this is cool. He wants to kick off this match here. So that was great. And then Pete Dunne also started with him, so which makes sense because Pete Dunne turned his back on him. It was Halloween Havoc, I believe, hit him with the chair. So it was cool. Yeah. They started this match off together. So, and then of course, one by one, everyone starts coming in. I enjoyed was Pat McAfee when it was his turn finally bringing out the tables with all their names on each one. But I wonder if the rest were telling him like hurry up because he was taking his time bringing it in. It's like you only got 3 minutes before Adam Cole comes out, so it's like hurry up.
As soon as he got the last table and it was 9, 8, 7. I really enjoyed the part where they wiped out Pat's team against the. Between the ropes and the cage. And then they turned around to Pat. And this is where I was thinking, like, this is where we're missing a crowd. Is because if there was a crowd there and they all turn around, an ECW crowd would be chanting, fuck him up, fuck him up, fuck him up.
Oh, yeah.
And Pat tried to climb out. And for a minute, I'm thinking, oh, my God, this is going to be how they lose. Because no one's lost the WarGames yet with that stipulation that if you leave the cage, you've lost.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, oh, he's just going to prove that he's a coward and lose the match for everyone. Because at that point, it's like, 40 minutes into the match.
Real quick, so that stipulation, if you leave the cage, your team loses. Is that an NXT rule, or was that over also in WCW or NWA?
WCW had a roof.
Yes, I remember they had the roof.
So there was no way to leave, and there.
Okay, so NXT, that was the one difference because I remember that was they didn't have a roof on theirs, but they added that stipulation. Okay, cool. But yeah, no, this match. I mean, as we said,
I really enjoyed the spot where Pat McAfee did the moonsault.
Yeah, I mean, to his credit. Like, say what you want to say about him. It looks like obviously he's been practicing and he's working on spots for this match and he's willing to put his body on the line. I mean, he's a former NFL player, so I know he was just a punter or was punter. Punter. Yeah, a punter. So he doesn't probably take as many hits as compared to some other guys on the Colts when he played, but nonetheless, he's still taken hits before. So this is nothing new for him as far as absorbing hits in a match per se. But
and if you're in the NFL, you're an elite athlete. Let's face it. So
absolutely. So it was this match. It was really, I thought, a big moment for Kyle O'Reilly, kind of continuing his momentum from NXT TakeOver 31 with Finn Balor. So that was great. Adam Cole, Pat McAfee, kind of continuing their rivalry a little bit. The Panama Sunrise move and the table spot. Unfortunately, one table spot it didn't break, and then I think Roderick Strong called an audible and just did a belly flop onto them.
Right.
So just to break the tables, that was cool.
I noticed that.
I'm trying to think anything else that stood out as far as there was so much that
Pat McAfee's dive off the cage.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Yes. Sorry, there's 2 Pat McAfee dives. So yeah, the one off the top of the cage that was awesome. So he probably saw Io Shirai's like, I'll do one better and do it myself. So that was great. And then I like Undisputed Era coming out like all red gear this time. I mean, like Worlds Collide earlier this year, they had all the green. So that's cool when they all kind of wear the same color per se. I like that. But ultimately the finish though was great. They take out everyone and then Adam Cole does the Panama Sunrise. And then, I think was it Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish do their high-low, for
total
ECW.
elimination.
Total elimination.
Yeah.
It's actually on a side note. Tommy and I were watching some of those last night. Total elimination. Joey Styles, but so they do that, and then Kyle O'Reilly, with the knee drop from the top.
Yes.
And they got the pin, and they won. It's Undisputed Era, man. This really is their match. Got the big victory over Team Pat McAfee. And I really liked the way it closed, all four of them, doing their things, talking to the camera.
Just strong unity.
Yeah. So I think, a couple months ago, we thought maybe it was going to be a breakup or, someone turned their back. My guess is maybe those plans are on hold right now for the time being, because I think obviously some injuries happen and stuff with NXT. So maybe that storyline got put on hold on the shelf for a while at least. But no, overall, very fun match. A couple things. So we saw the little promo for Karrion Kross. TikTok, the vulture that was on the screen. Even Triple H did an interview. He did his media call the other day, and someone asked, when's Karrion Kross going to come back from his injury? And I love Triple H's response was TikTok. So
any second.
So it looks like, Karrion Kross is going to be back. So he did have surgery on his shoulder. I guess he tried to rehab it another way.
Just let it heal.
Yeah. So
I had that in high school. I tore my left meniscus and my knee. And they told me, like, you can get a minor surgery and be like walking again in a month or two, or kind of sit out for 6 months and it'll heal on its own. And there are exercises you can do to strengthen it, and it will heal on its own.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think he just opted for that.
Yeah.
Because if he gets the surgery, then he has to get the surgery, and then he has to rehab it, and then he's got to get go through all those other hoops. So
so when he got hurt, what was it, August? So it's almost 3.5 months.
3 months. Yeah,
3 months. So so that's the thing. I thought maybe based on Triple H's comments, he was going to make an appearance tonight at WarGames and maybe cost someone a match or something.
Well, we're supposed to get Finn Balor back in the ring this week, aren't we?
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. So no Finn Balor. So I don't know how long it's going to take his jaw to recover. Also, it was revealed, I guess Triple H revealed, he actually had 2 injuries that night with Kyle O'Reilly at 31. He had the broken jaw, but also like a busted eardrum as well. So he was really beat up after that match with Kyle O'Reilly. So Finn Balor, I mean, listen, for NXT, they really been, when Finn Balor been gone this whole time, they really been putting more attention on the North American title, the women's division, the women's championship, and WarGames. This whole buildup has really been able to fill up a lot of the TV time. So hopefully now it's been a couple months. Hopefully Finn is now fully recovered and we can see him back on TV soon.
That's always how I think about wrestling, and I don't know why Raw and SmackDown don't take that as well. Like Brock Lesnar's the champion, and everyone's mad because he's never there. And it's like, part of that, I think, is that they're not distracting you with that by putting the women's, the tag, or the IC belt as the main event for Raw that night. Because for me, I'm a fan of Brock Lesnar. He's legitimate. And it's like, why should he be there every week? He's just going to eat everyone up every week. There's no point. He's a
special attraction.
Yeah, there's no special attraction if he's there every week, and then you're going to be upset that he beat everybody.
Yeah.
So, that's where I feel like Raw and SmackDown, I think this is more so that they have writers and they're not wrestling people. Because it's like, okay, well, we don't have the world champion, so we'll use one of our other champions because we have a whole bunch of them. So,
yeah. Well, as you said, like NXT, they'll rotate, the tag titles will main event his show when
even with NXT, they're going back to when it was a 1 hour show on Wednesdays on the WWE Network. They would tape those, so they would have a 1 hour show, but they tape 2 or 4 hours worth of shows. I
think it was 3 or 4, in one
sitting. You wouldn't see the world champion every week anyway.
Exactly.
So
yep. And that's the thing. The live crowd that was inside, they would get to see everyone on the roster, all the champions, in that one taping. But us at home, it would be spread out over the next 3-4 weeks. But we don't get burnt out from seeing all the same faces over and over. So it was great. For the people in-house, you got to see everyone on the roster, all the champions. And then on TV, they spread it out. So we're not going to be burnt out from seeing all the same faces over and over. But I'm with you. Raw and SmackDown, 1 week, the tag champions should main event. The USA or US champion or IC on SmackDown. There's so many different ways they can rotate the champions and make them special, and they're the kings of that respect or queen of that respected show for the week.
Exactly, and especially when you're lacking tag teams like they are. I mean, they're not overall right. If you look at the total amount of the established teams in all of WWE, they probably have the best tag division in wrestling. But when you spread it out the way they have, it's not much.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense to have your tag team champion, like the New Day, in the main event against Randy Orton, and plug in the wrestler, whoever.
Yeah.
And make it look like Randy's going to win, but then the New Day get it, because then they look legitimate. Because if you remember, they used to do stuff like that. I believe the Hollies beat the Rock and Sock Connection for the tag team titles at one point.
Oh, wow. I'm trying to remember now when that happened.
Like 1999.
Yeah.
But it's just like one of those things that you don't expect to happen, especially looking at it. And then, like, because you've got two world champions, right? But they can lose to guys that are established tag teams, and the announcers tell that story that this is a team that is a team every week. And that legitimizes the roster that way.
Yeah. When you take two singles guys, put them together, theoretically, the established tag team should have the advantage. Because
no matter
they know,
who it is.
Yeah. They should have the advantage because they're established tag team. They know their strategies and who does what in the match. I get what you're saying. And that's something I think it's a little bit of a lost art when it comes to tag team storytelling in WWE. But overall, WarGames, so much fun. As far as Undisputed Era, where they go now from here, I mean, they are pretty much baby faces. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. As far as Karrion Kross coming back, what's next for Finn Balor. So a lot of stories wrapped up here. I think for Pat McAfee, let me ask you guys this. At this point, okay, Pat McAfee had his great initial story run, feuding with Adam Cole at TakeOver 30. That's done. They brought him back for a sequel leading up to WarGames. Now it's done. He lost. Do you write him off for a while, keep him away for a little bit? Just I'm worried that I don't want to get burnt out from seeing too much Pat McAfee.
I don't think there's such a thing as seeing too much Pat McAfee. I think you can do either. You can write him off and then bring him back, but they've just done that. So that it makes more sense to keep him around. Maybe try to put together some more guys. Tell them these guys weren't, they didn't cut it for him.
Yeah.
I don't know though, but I mean, right now he's kind of like Bobby Heenan, where it's just like, just rebuild and figure out another way to beat these guys.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like what I dig about, Pat McAfee. At the same time, I see people kind of complain. It's like, okay, his promos are starting to get a little repetitive as far as I'm rich.
They're so good.
You suck. I bought these guys to help me. We're going to take out X, Y, and Z. So part of me is like, maybe keep him off for just a little bit so we miss him. And then he can like rebuild, reemerge, rebuild, and comes back maybe with a newer team. I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see now where they go from here. Roster.
His goons are still there.
Yeah.
So it's not
they're
like
still tag champions.
Yeah. It's not like he's just going to disappear. And if he does, then they need to tell that story with those guys.
But it's interesting. I mean, God, as stacked as this show was with all the talent, I mean, there's still a lot of people. Legado del Fantasma is still there. Jake Atlas, Kushida. I mean, there's a lot of people. NXT has a deep roster themselves.
They do. They always have, though, going back to TakeOver 1, and you'd have a fourth of the roster on a TakeOver. So, the best get on the show, or the best stories that are developing get on the show.
Yeah, so it's looking forward to this Wednesday and see the fallout on this week's episode of NXT. And they announced what New Year's Evil, it looks like.
Yeah.
So that Wednesday in the new year, the first Wednesday in 2021, they're going to have a big show there. So that's cool. I dig it. Takeovers, I mean, during this pandemic, pre-pandemic, they were like once every 3 months. Now they've been doing it more like once every 2 or every other month, every 2 months. And I like in between, they'll do like a really stacked Clash of the Champions type of show, like a stacked or a specialty theme show on Wednesday, where it's pretty much like pay-per-view level quality matches. So looking forward to that. So a lot of stuff to look forward to on the NXT brand. So, all right, on that note, let's wrap things up. Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me at Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram and nowhere else.
Of course. Tommy, where the Kliqsters can find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83, and subscribe to In The Kliq on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. InTheKliq@gmail.com, and a lot of fun stuff coming up in the works. And let's go home, and that's the bottom line because Huey said so.